Listen. Welcome to our program, Wonderful World. I'm your host, Jack McFly. This week we are introducing a story about traditional Polynesian navigation. Today we have a special guest, Ms. Uchino Kaneko, the first Japanese crew member of Hokulea. Hello, Kaneko. Welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Jack. The pleasure is all mine.
So, Kaneko, can you tell us about Hokulea?
Well, Hokulea is a replica of a traditional Polynesian canoe. It's a type of double-hulled canoe that was used to sail across the Pacific Ocean. With canoes like Hokulea, ancient Polynesians bravely set out for the oceans long before Europeans started to travel across the world's oceans. In traditional Polynesian canoes, ropes were used to tie the hulls. Surprisingly, the ropes altogether were sometimes several kilometers long.
Listen. How did Polynesians navigate their canoes?
Today we have GPS to navigate, but Polynesian navigators used nature to show them the way. They were known as wayfinders. They watched for natural signs from the sun, the moon, stars, winds, clouds, and birds.
That's interesting. How did they use them?
Good question. Early in the morning, wayfinders looked carefully at the position of the rising sun. Before the sun got higher in the sky, they tried to read the patterns of waves called faces of the ocean. During the day, they tried to keep their canoe at the same angle to the waves so that they could keep going in the right direction.
Wow, that's really interesting. Listen. How did the wayfinders learn these navigation skills?
They learned them from their elders. They learned the names and the movement of more than 200 stars with the star compass. They memorized all this information and had a picture of the stars in their mind.
I heard somewhere that these traditional navigation skills were starting to die out. How were they revived?
In 1975, a group of people in Hawaii built a large canoe called Hokulea. They wanted to demonstrate the skills and methods of the traditional navigators by sailing from Hawaii to Tahiti. A wayfinder was invited from Micronesia to take part in this project. His name was Mau Piailug, and he was one of the greatest wayfinders. He navigated Hokulea successfully from Hawaii to Tahiti. This success led us to rediscover the value of their traditional navigation skills.
Listen. Kaneko, in 2007, you sailed on Hokulea from Hawaii to Japan. It was a 13,000-kilometer trip. Could you tell us about the voyage?
Hokulea's first trip to Japan was quite a challenge. But we rose to the challenge under one slogan, one ocean, one people.
What did you learn from the trip?
We realized that we are connected by one big ocean. During the voyage, I was reminded of the Hawaiian words, "The canoe is an island. The island is a canoe." It means that living on an island is like voyaging on a canoe. We should take care of each other, just as we do on a canoe. We are meant to work together.
You're right, Kaneko. Our planet is the canoe, and we are all voyagers. Thank you very much for sharing your experience with us today. We've learned a lot from you.
Thank you, Jack. It has been my pleasure.